is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
It's Tuesday, July 14th, and right now on Good Morning Indiana. Indianapolis Public Schools addressing their decision to go back to school in August. The questions many parents are asking as the school year gets closer. Thousands of students at Franklin Community Schools are also preparing to resume in-person classes. We'll show you what students can expect as they enter the classroom. Many taking to the streets to protest the appointment of the latest Indianapolis City County Councilor. Why they're upset about Jason Larison's past actions and the process that put him in power. And tomorrow is the last day to file your taxes. Working for you, what you need to know so you can meet the deadline.
Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Indiana on this Tuesday, July the 14th. Lauren, it will be a superb sunny day to go out and support a local business in your hometown. So go out and do something today.
That sounds like a great idea, and hopefully if you're supporting local business, you can do so outside because, Todd, people really need to soak up one more great day, comfortable day in our forecast.
Yeah, you know, if you can find a patio, sit outside and enjoy the sunshine and the comfortable temperatures, I encourage you, because as we get further into this forecast, by later in the week, it's going to be hot and it's going to be humid. So I think a lot of people will be wanting to stay indoors compared to be going outdoors, at least for extended periods of time. A beautiful start to this Tuesday morning as you look from downtown to the north, not a cloud in the sky. Sunrise officially still just about 25 minutes away as we get closer to the bottom of the hour. Temperatures right now range from 60 in Bloomington to 65 in Indy, but look at these 50s in northern locations. What a great morning for the middle of July. 57 in Kokomo, 55 is the current temperature in Marion. As we go throughout the day today, we'll build in some fair weather clouds later on this afternoon, but overall we're looking at sunny skies, 85 to 90 degrees with comfortable conditions as the humidity today will still remain very low. We'll talk more about those changes I mentioned by the end of the week coming up in Maine weather in just a few minutes.
All right, Todd, thank you. We are monitoring some construction to our east. This is I-70 out at Mithofer Road. You can see the flashing sign there. You can see the orange barrels. For the most part, it looks like they're out of those travel lanes, but you can see that all the traffic is on one side of the interstate this morning. So just use caution as you're traveling over there on the east side. We also know about some ramp restrictions in that area, so use caution. Right now, everything is still traveling up to speed. Raphael?
The countdown is on. In about 2 weeks, thousands of students are set to return to school throughout central Indiana. Amid the pandemic, many schools are opting for in-person classes, and now they're explaining how they plan to keep students and staff safe in all of those classrooms. IPS held a virtual town hall last night to answer questions for families now facing an August 3rd school start date.
And our Alyssa Donovan is joining us live this morning. Alyssa, we know parents had some really important questions for the district staff.
That's right, Lauren. IPS is allowing parents to have their kids opt out of in-person learning, but for those who are heading back to the classroom, parents wanted to know what is going to be the procedure if someone, a student or a teacher, is diagnosed with COVID-19. Now, IPS Superintendent Alicia Johnson says each school will have a COVID response team. They'll take down the information and get it to district leadership, who will then contact the Marion County Health Department in one of these cases. Now, the district will make any changes or adjustments based on the health department's guidance. This can include things like quarantining those who need to, the communication of the potential for follow-up testing for students and staff members who may have been impacted, and determining when that student or staff member can return to school.
Usually they're required to report to us within 24 hours if they have a positive child or staff person or employee in their premises, and we will be there within 24 hours making recommendations.
IPS announced its safety plan last week. It includes social distancing and mask requirements for students and staff. Classes start on August 3rd, and the deadline for you to opt your students out of in-person learning is this coming Friday. So if you want to do that, you need to do it soon. Now, if you do want your kids to go back to the classroom, the district is asking that you commit for K through 8 students to at least a quarter, and for high school students to at least a semester. Reporting live, Alyssa Donovan, RTV 6.
Alyssa, thank you so much. New this morning, schools statewide are scrambling to implement safety features before kids arrive. This morning here in Johnson County, how the Franklin Community School System is getting ready to welcome back more than 5,000 students. Here at Creekside Elementary School, this cafeteria setup will be a thing of the past. By the time students arrive, about 2/3 of these tables will be moved out, some to the gymnasium next door. Before COVID-19, it was not unheard of to have students sitting together in a table of 4. But things are now changing. Desks are now being separated to give students more room to learn. So in this classroom, as you can see, desks are now in a single file row, giving students more room to learn. Teachers will get a chance to sit behind a plastic shield like this one to protect them and their students when they sit around in small groups. Each classroom in the district will have a hand sanitizer just like this one. When it comes to hygiene, it's all hands on deck. For now, you can push and get a drink of water, but when school arrives, all of these water fountains will be shut down. The district instead has added one of these touchless water fountains to allow students to get a drink. The school system will allow teachers to branch out and hold classroom outdoors where possible, weather permitting. The school system is also taking a stand on extracurricular activities. You may see band and choir rehearsing outdoors. Many changes statewide, and here in Franklin, the school system is also encouraging families to either carpool or maybe even walk or bike with their children to school when and where possible. The goal is to have at least 2 kids per seat on that school bus. Lauren?
Well, in Raphael, with the new sanitizing guidelines, school districts are also looking at changes as to how they clean those school buildings and those school buses you mentioned. Out in Shelby County, Shelby Eastern School says that their district has spent a lot of time this summer getting the necessary supplies so they can reopen this fall. That includes purchasing cleaning supplies like Lysol and isopropyl alcohol. Katrina Falk, the district's director of transportation, says that they'll use those cleaners on all the buses multiple times a day.
After the morning routes, the buses will be sanitized immediately following when the students are dismissed, and then in the afternoons they'll be sanitized again after the end of the bus routes.
Fox says they are taking cues from state officials on how to protect their teachers, students, and bus drivers this fall semester. Shelby Eastern schools were scheduled to begin classes on August 5th.
This morning, an eye-opening number. Indiana has now surpassed 52,000 total cases of COVID-19 in our state. And here are the latest numbers that we have. Here's the breakdown. The Indiana State Department of Health reports 452 new cases and two new deaths were reported on Monday. Marion County continues to have the most cases, reaching more than 12,000 Hoosiers. 2,569 Hoosiers have died from the virus. More than 570,000 have been tested so far.
A truck driver accused of causing a crash that killed a mother and her young twins is sentenced to 9 years in prison. 58-year-old Bruce Pollard pleaded guilty but mentally ill to 11 charges, including reckless homicide. Investigators say that Pollard slammed into stop traffic at a construction zone on I-465 near the Keystone exit in July of last year. 29-year-old Alana Coons and her 18-month-old daughters June and Ruby died in that crash. Several other people were injured. And an Ohio trucker is now facing 9 felony charges after 4 children were killed in a crash on I-70 last week. 33-year-old Corey Withrow's charges include 4 counts of reckless homicide. Investigators say that Withrow was under the influence of drugs when that crash took place Thursday out in Wayne County. He reportedly did not slow down when approaching slowed traffic and crashed into the back of a car, which caught on fire. The driver of the car was pulled to safety, but the 4 kids inside, ranging in ages from 6 to 15, were all killed.
Some people are not happy with the newest member of the Indianapolis City County Council and the process that put him in power.
What do we want? What do we want?
Organizers say this was an act of protest against the recent selection of Jason Larison to represent District 12 in Indianapolis. The seat was left vacant after Blake Johnson moved to a statewide position. Now, per Indiana law, such vacancies are filled by a special election or of elected and appointed precinct committee people. Critics question that process. Larison, as you may recall, also faces backlash over blogs from more than a decade ago. In some of those posts, he made disparaging comments about immigrants and women, for which he has apologized.
He has apologized for what he said back then, but I don't believe that people change that much. I mean, I wasn't writing blog posts like that back then. I imagine many other people weren't writing things like that 10 years ago, and I think it rings hollow when it comes to what we expect as a party. Well, I think one option is to get rid of the caucusing model. Another option is to reform the amount of power that county chairs have to appoint and remove precinct committee people.
You can find more on this developing story on our website, theindychannel.com.
Well, Raphael, the filing deadline for tax returns is tomorrow, and this comes after the IRS pushed back the deadline in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic. So our Kelsey Anderson spoke with a financial advisor about the deadline and how you can prepare for next year.
When the pandemic hit, the IRS extended the tax payment deadline 90 days. That means tomorrow is the deadline to pay if you owe. I spoke with John Amatuli of Amatuli & Associates Financial Services. He says if you are still unable to pay when it's due because of the pandemic or any other reason, the IRS can assist you with a payment plan. Although that's not what he recommends, because he says the IRS will charge you. Amatuli says while it's easy to think about right now, it's also important to think about next year's tax season.
I recommend the folks to work with a financial professional, a CPA or an advisor, to look at, some tax-exempt investments or tax-deferred investments, because as I mentioned earlier, we do feel that tax rates in the future will go up, and if you have those vehicles, that can save you some tax dollars down the road.
Amatuli says if you are able, consider boosting your retirement contributions. You may be eligible for certain tax credits that could help reduce your tax bill on a dollar-for-dollar basis. I'm Kelsey Anderson, RTV6.
Kelsey, thank you so much. Social media has become a big part of our lives and also a part of the hiring process. In Hiring Hoosiers, we're talking to our career coach about what employers want to see on your profile. But first, Todd Clausen, I am looking outside of my living room window. A pretty sunrise is now in the making.
Yeah, absolutely beautiful this morning. Not only is the sun coming up with hardly a cloud in the sky, Raphael, the humidity is low and temperatures this morning are in the 50s and 60s. So what do we rate the day going forward? Well, we're going to push the needle all the way to a 9 as temperatures maybe a little bit warm for some of you as we get into the upper 80s, but the humidity is low, the winds are light, and the sun will be shining all day. We'll talk about today and beyond coming up in your Storm Team 6 forecast. The time now is 6:13. Stay with us. We're back in just a couple minutes.
Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. Hiring Hoosiers has been working for you for more than a year to help you and your family find a job or learn to connect you to so many training resources throughout Central Indiana.
That's right. So whether you're searching for a job after years of employment or maybe you just want to improve your resume, we're sharing advice from our Hiring Hoosiers career coaches. Today we're talking about the positives and the pitfalls of social media.
So is social media helping or hurting your professional image? The fact of the matter is employers are checking social media before an interview and once you're at a workplace. So it's important that you manage your social media reputation. Social media gives employers a chance to see you outside of the workplace. It's a great place to show off your professional image and how well you communicate, and also show off your personality, those hobbies, your interests, your sense of humor, and your values. It's also a really great place for them to see that you can fit in with the culture of their company. It's really important also to stay active on your social media sites, especially Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. So remember, before you post, to ask yourself, what message am I sending? You always want to showcase the best of your personality and your professional skills. It's important to be public and employers can find you by your name. And it's important to go through those old posts, take off things that are not going to make you look good to that employer. You can go back and make certain posts public and make certain posts private. You don't want to make your whole social media private because the employers can't see your personality and see the person that you are. Sometimes employers think that it's suspicious when you're not public.
Some good advice there. So for more job search tips and open positions that you can apply for right now, just head to our website, hiringhoosiers.com. The time right now is 6:18 on your Tuesday. Let's check in with Todd and see what we can expect as we head out the door this morning. Hey, TK.
Yeah, Lauren, good morning to you. Good morning, everybody, on this Tuesday. Off to another great start weather-wise all across the area as the sun is shining and the temperatures are very, very comfortable. In fact, this morning we're in the 50s in some locations. I'll show you in just a second. Live look in Bloomington right now, and you can see the sky starting to brighten. No threat of rain in the forecast for the day today, but you notice as we progress throughout the remainder of the week, rain chances do return, although when you see the slight there for Wednesday, just know that's pretty late in the day. Tomorrow, most of the daytime hours will be dry. And then we'll get up into the moderate rain chance as we get into Thursday and Friday as the heat and humidity starts to build. But nice little pocket of upper 50s from Peru through Tipton, northern Hamilton County into Greenfield at 59 degrees, 60 in Bloomington this morning, in Greencastle and Terre Haute looking at a temperature right now of 62 degrees. Our average high this time of year is 85 degrees. We'll be right around that number in most locations today. 85 in Logansport, Muncie, and Crawfordsville, up to 86 degrees. And as we slide down to the south, temperatures are going to be a little bit warmer. We'll be closer to 90 degrees in Bloomington as well as Bedford, but the humidity today still remains low. So while the heat builds in, the humidity is still fairly low, and that's going to result in a fairly comfortable day for us. And then highs in and around the metro area should be generally right around 87 in Indy, just a degree or two cooler as you work your way to the north. So all in all, it's a terrific day for us once again for the middle of July. Anytime you get low humidity and temperatures in the 80s and sunshine, I think you're doing pretty good in the weather department. And as we expand out, you notice the change that'll start to occur. We have some clouds, and then a little further off to the northwest, that's where we find the storms. And that front is the one that's going to be heading in our direction for the day tomorrow. So tomorrow on your Wednesday, we start off dry. We start off comfortable again in the 60s, but we warm really, really quick up into the 90-degree range for Wednesday. And then late in the day, you notice the rain showers there by 10 p.m. That front will be arriving from the west as it comes in. It will be weakening. That's the good news as far as the threat of severe weather goes. But I do still think there will be the chance of maybe, at least early on in the evening, the chance of a few isolated, strong to maybe severe storms. The best severe threat tomorrow stays off to our west in Illinois, where the slight risk is in place from the Storm Prediction Center. We're just under a marginal risk in western locations. Then once we get into the latter half of the week, you see the 90s there. They're going to be with us for several days in a row. The humidity comes way up. And with the heat and humidity, Lauren, the chance of isolated storms.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Here's a look right now at traffic as you're heading out on the roads. This is I-465 in West 10th Street. You can see traffic is moving along up to speed, both northbound and southbound. No issues to slow you down. So some people are afraid that their Alexa or their smart home device is spying on them. Well, now researchers say that might be true. This morning, the trigger words that could be alerting that technology to record you.
And you just heard Todd's forecast. Temperatures will heat up once again, and the water park, oh yeah, the water park may be the perfect place to cool off. This morning, you can visit Holiday World and Splashing Safari thanks to Good Morning Indiana. Right now is your chance to win a pair of vouchers to the parks. All you have to do is be the sixth caller. The number on your screen, 317-269-1459. Thank you for starting your day with Good Morning Indiana on this Tuesday, July the 14th.
Welcome back. It is 6:24. Raphael, it is time to talk about what is trending at 6.
So, Lauren, with the COVID-19, right, people are really concerned about touching stuff. So Coca-Cola is the latest looking for new technology to make the experience safer for everyone. Coca-Cola still wants you to enjoy its vending machines without worrying about COVID-19. So it's releasing new technology to make that happen. You just need to scan the QR code on your smartphone to choose a drink on the vending machine. Coke says all will be contactless by the end of the year.
Well, it is a love story 40 years in the making. Judy Siegel and Dean Admont were in high school, and they were high school sweethearts when they were in a terrible car accident near Fargo, North Dakota. It left Siegel paralyzed and the pair split. Siegel ended up becoming a motivational speaker and a Paralympian and an activist who delivered wheelchairs all around the world. Admont became a teacher, and 40 years later, the pair reconnected and they wed
That's
just
awesome.
days ago. Timing is everything.
Okay.
That's cool.
Wow. Here's another lady who loves being an educator, and she's here from Indianapolis. Congratulations this morning to Rachel Mitchell. She's our hometown hero on this Tuesday, as she works with IPS students learning English in elementary grades. Thank you to her and to all teachers throughout Indiana. Time now to check your forecast, where Todd Clausen is earning another A+ for another great day here in Central Indiana. Good morning, TK.
Yeah, we're making it 2 in a row here, Raphael, as we'll be enjoying the sunshine and low humidity today, just like we did yesterday. The only difference is it's going to be a couple degrees warmer later on this afternoon, but the humidity still remains low. So get outside this morning. If you haven't stepped out the door yet today, I encourage you to do so. It's great. 50s and 60s, low humidity and lots of sunshine. We'll warm quickly here this morning. No, we're up to about 81 degrees with sunny skies by the noon hour, then high temperatures today with mostly sunny skies. Will be topping off anywhere from about 85 degrees in northern locations to near 90 degrees down towards Bloomington. Actual high temperatures do climb into the 90s as we work our way towards the tail end of the week. The humidity is going to come up as well, as it's going to start to become a lot more uncomfortable here across central Indiana. And with the heat and humidity, storm chances return as well. So with all that heading in our direction later in the week, make sure you try to take advantage of the nice weather today.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. Well, Amazon Alexa devices could be listening to more of your conversations than you think. A new study shows that certain words can trigger those devices and others into recording you. Consumer reporter John Matarese explains.
Remember when your parents used to tell each other, don't say that in front of the children? Well, now it's don't say that in front of Alexa. A new study published in the tech site ARS Technica found almost 1,000 phrases that can trigger Alexa, Siri, or Google Home to start listening and recording your conversations. Alexa can be triggered by the words unacceptable, election, and a letter, as in let's send someone a letter. The report says the Amazon Echo may think you're saying Alexa. Siri can be triggered by saying a city. Google Home is triggered by okay, cool. This is often why your device will light up during TV shows for no apparent reason. Amazon tells ARS Technica this is rare and that it's always improving Alexa's voice recognition. But this is a good reminder that your conversations are not necessarily private. And also, it's a good reason to not have a smart speaker in your bedroom. So always don't waste your money. I'm John Matarese. Good morning, Indiana.
This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Now on Good Morning Indiana on this Tuesday morning, here's your 6:30 news feed. A semi-truck driver who slammed into stop traffic in a construction zone, killing a mother and her 2 twin daughters, received a 9-year sentence. 57-year-old Bruce Pollard of Sturgeon, Missouri, pleaded guilty but mentally ill to charges including reckless homicide. Indiana State Police investigators found Pollard was driving 65 miles per hour and did not make any effort to slow down as he approached stop traffic.
An Ohio trucker is facing 9 felony charges after 4 children were killed in a crash on I-70 last week. 33-year-old Cordy Withrow's charges including 4 counts of reckless homicide. Investigators say that Withrow was under the influence of drugs when the crash happened on Thursday out in Wayne County.
A popular northern Indiana beach being forced to shut down over COVID-19 concerns. Walhalla Beach on Lake Michigan will be closed starting tomorrow by orders of the mayor of Whiting. The mayor says it was a public safety decision, noting large crowds making social distancing difficult. The beach will remain closed until further notice.
A Black Lives Matter street mural will be painted in downtown Indianapolis. The City-County Council adopted a special resolution approving the plan last night. The mural will be painted on Indiana Avenue between West Street and Paca Street. Councilors say they want to convey a message condemning racism and inequality.
Welcome to Good Morning Indiana on this Tuesday. And Lauren, Todd Clausen is so generous. He's going to let us borrow his specialty bikes today so that we can take a ride along the cultural trail through downtown Indianapolis. I mean, Todd is just a giving kind of guy.
Yeah, so nice of him. And Todd, you're giving us some great weather for that as well.
Yep, I have a bike for each of you, and so we'll meet around, Raphael, you can meet Lauren and I after the show around 1 o'clock, and we'll bike the cultural trail, and we'll find some ice cream. My treat to get here across the area. It's going to be a beautiful day for us with lots of sunshine, low humidity, and we're kicking the morning off here with this beautiful view from downtown to the north. Not a cloud in the sky this morning. It's going to be absolutely terrific for the next few hours. I encourage you to get out because look at these temperatures. Here we are on July the 14th. The middle of the month, the middle of summer, 59 in Peru right now, 65 in Indianapolis, 60 in Bloomington to the north. A lot of 50s this morning, 55 in Logansport, as well as Marion. 59 is the current temperature over in Anderson. So we'll see some high, thin clouds start to build in later on this afternoon, some cumulus clouds as well, but no rain is in the forecast for the day today. Look at the temperature trend. We're through the 70s into the 80s already by the noon hour, with high temperatures today topping off anywhere from 85 to 90 degrees.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Here's a look right now at traffic as you're heading out on the roads. This is I-465 and Meridian Street up on the north side, where you can see traffic is moving along up to speed this morning. No issues to slow you down. Want to get to some breaking news, though, we're following this morning. The Supreme Court ruling overnight that federal executions can resume. Daniel Lewis Lee has been scheduled to be executed at 4 o'clock Monday afternoon out in Terre Haute. This was blocked by a district judge who said there are legal issues to solve surrounding a new sedative. Following the Supreme Court's late night ruling, the Bureau of Prison Officials rescheduled Lee's execution for this morning. Lee's lawyers argued the execution cannot go forward after midnight under federal regulations.
In about 20 days, the biggest public school system in Marion County is planning to reopen. That date is set for August the 3rd. IPS held a virtual town hall to share its plan with all of its families. Alyssa Donovan joins us live this morning with reaction to that plan. Alyssa, good morning.
Good morning, Raphael. Parents had a lot of questions about IPS's back to school plan, specifically not only about their children's safety when they go back to the classroom, but how the e-learning will go for the children who choose to work remotely. Now, IPS is allowing parents to have their kids opt out of in-person learning. So for those children not heading back to the classroom, they'll be adjusting to more learning online. Superintendent Alicia Johnson says students who are K through 8 will be able to access the video learning content at whatever time of day works best for the family. Students will still be assigned to their own schools as well as a homeroom teacher, and this will allow students to contact a specific teacher for help with lessons.
Ensure I sort of got the lesson to see if I need any additional supports. And then someone from my school, whether that be the social worker, the counselor, whomever, would be checking in with me at least once weekly, just on how I am doing, on my mental health, my emotional health and well-being, how I'm doing as a student.
High school students in remote learning will specifically have teachers who are specific for each class, monitoring their online instruction. And the deadline for students to be opted out of in-person learning is this coming Friday. So if you do want your child to do remote learning, you need to sign them up sooner rather than later. If your student is going back to the classroom, students will be required to wear masks and they'll be adhering to social distancing guidelines as well. Reporting live, Alyssa Donovan, RTV6.
Alyssa, thank you. The time right now is 6:34. Students and staff in at least one Marion County school district will not be returning to classrooms as originally scheduled. On Monday, Washington Township Schools announced it's postponing the district's reopening plan. The decision comes after a survey of families, teachers, and stakeholders. School Board President John Fenchie tells RTV6 that officials feel that the starting classes in person would be an unnecessary risk. There's some mixed reaction among parents and students.
It's difficult to implement social distancing in the hallways. It's difficult to have that in every classroom. Please know that this is a difficult decision, and that there were many factors that were considered, but I think it was the rise in cases in Marion County that probably got the board's attention more than any single other factor.
I agree with them. It's a concern. I think they do a committee and they ask each other, and I think it's a brainstorming from everybody.
A lot of kids go there for their sport, and they get the academics with that, and they're thinking about doing the sport in college. So I don't think it's a fair decision to cancel all sports right away like that. I feel like I can't learn on my own, and the fact that we're in so many AP classes, or just anybody who's in an AP class, it's hard to learn that material on your own.
Well, starting July 30th, students will attend class virtually until further notice. That also includes all extracurricular activities, which means fall sports are canceled for now. The situation will be re-examined at every district board meeting.
Attorneys for a couple accused of being involved in a racially involved incident near Lake Monroe say the claims are false. Vox Booker has spoken out several times, saying that men in the video pinned him down and threatened to lynch him. There are multiple recordings showing part of what happened. You can hear inappropriate language, including a racial slur, from others who were with Sean Purdy and Caroline McCord. Purdy's attorney says that does not tell the whole story and that Booker instigated the confrontation.
You go on a neighbor's property and you start punching people, you can be restrained. And he ended up against the tree. No talk of a noose, no talk of a rope, no talk of a lynching. No white power, and you don't have all the video, okay? Mr. Booker says he survived this near lynching, yet he stays to videotape people as he race baits them, Whitey. And then he gets one of them to say some racially insensitive stuff.
Purdy and McCord have been interviewed by the FBI. The Department of Natural Resources is also investigating. RTV6 reached out to Vox Booker for a response. We'll let you know when we have an update.
Raphael, this morning, state police continue to investigate a deadly interstate shooting. Crews were called out to I-465 westbound near mile marker 5 on the south side just after 6 o'clock Monday night. They believe a person was shot and killed in a road rage incident. The suspect's vehicle is described as a newer model black Chevrolet Impala or Malibu. Police say the victim is from Georgia. If you have any information, please call Crime Stoppers.
For months now, many Hoosiers have been relying on extra unemployment benefits from the Federal CARES Act. Working for you, we're looking at the financial steps you should be taking now that the benefits are about to end. You're watching Good Morning Indiana, right here on RTV6.
Welcome back. Turning now to the latest on the coronavirus outbreak and how it's impacting Indiana. The State Department of Health confirmed 452 new cases of the coronavirus. So far, 52,037 Hoosiers have been diagnosed with COVID-19. The state also reports 2 new coronavirus deaths. Since the pandemic began, 2,569 people in Indiana have died from COVID-19. This morning, the state says more than 37% of Indiana's ICU beds are still available. Coronavirus patients are using up about 11% of the ICU beds. 83% of the state's ventilators are still available at this time. Raphael?
This morning, let's talk money. The CARES Act has been providing thousands of Hoosiers an extra $600 per week in unemployment benefits, but that benefit is set to expire in about 17 days. Our Kelsey Anderson explains how you can prepare for that change. Kelsey, good morning.
If you lost your job because of the pandemic and are currently on unemployment, I spoke to a financial advisor who says the first thing you want to do is start budgeting that money and making sure you're only paying for the necessities. John Amatuli of Amatuli & Associates Financial Services says pay your bills, but then save what you can. If you find you had more money than you thought left over, it doesn't necessarily mean you should pay off a chunk of credit card debt right now or splurge on an item. While that can be tempting, he says, we have to remember we're still in a pandemic and there is a lot of uncertainty around the job market for many people. Instead, he says it might be a good idea to try and hang on to that cash and put it in a savings account.
And I recommend to clients and the folks that try to have a 6-month emergency funds set up, because if things get bad again in the fall, there's money there to make expenses.
He says to remember, if you were hired for another job today, it still might be a week before you start and 3 weeks or more before you receive a paycheck. He says it's important to do what you can to make this extra money today last for when you need it later. I'm Kelsey Anderson, RTV 6.
Kelsey, thank you. If you did receive a COVID stimulus check for someone who died, don't worry about it returning it. That's because the Internal Revenue Service is now saying that those checks have been canceled. The tax agency previously requested family members return them, and it's rushed to get the checks out to 160 million eligible taxpayers quickly. The Treasury Department relied on previous tax filings. Some people had died between their last filing and when the checks were sent.
A group of 20 universities have now launched a lawsuit against the federal government over its students and its new immigration practices. The suit challenges a new directive making international students have to leave the United States if they don't have to attend at least one class in person. Now, many schools have been conducting courses online, of course, because of the coronavirus. The universities in the lawsuit are from the western portion of the United States. They joined 17 attorneys general who are also suing the Trump administration over this same mandate.
Fans are back in the stands for 3 different sports with Indy ties. Straight ahead, our Brad Brown looks as if it could be a sign of things to come. Todd.
And Lauren, another beautiful day for us across the area. Absolutely terrific this morning for anything you want to do outside with temperatures that are in the 60s. But we do warm quickly throughout the course of the day today, and we're in the mid to upper 80s by this afternoon. But that humidity, that's the game changer. It remains low throughout the day today. It's coming back, though. We'll talk all about when it returns and also look ahead to some better storm chances as well in your 7-day planning forecast when Good Morning Indiana continues right here on RTV 6.
Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. So very slowly, sports are making their way back, right? Leagues and series organizers maneuvering through all the different protocols to make sure that people and players, Lauren, are safe.
Yeah, and so our Brad Brown reports now that some of those same steps are being taken to get some of the fans back in those seats.
When the Indy 11 took the field on Saturday night, there were cheers to welcome them into Lucas Oil Stadium. Something we hadn't heard here in 4 months.
I'm looking for a good game. I mean, I'd like them to win, but I mean, it's great to just see them play.
We love all the players, all the interactions we had last year with them, and we're ready to see them play. We've been following them all on Instagram.
Temperature checks awaited everyone that entered the building. Face coverings were required to get in, although coverage was hit and miss once the game started. Many fans we spoke with were impressed by the safety measures being taken.
They've really thought it through. They care about the fans and they've really thought it through. And I expect that it's a good organization. We knew they'd come through.
It's spectacular. They've done a really great job at trying to get everybody in here. I think it's really, I don't think they could have done much better. So it'll be a different, different to see, different atmosphere for sure, but it will still be great just the same.
People had plenty of room to spread out, including the dedicated lot that are the Brickyard Battalion.
We've obviously missed it. It's been great to keep up with the guys on social media, but to finally be back in the building and safe and just be able to see the game again is great.
Also on Saturday, IndyCar welcomed fans for the first time this season. Thousands lined the 4-mile course around Road America in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin.
It was a great deal. I was super happy. I didn't know what would happen. I just hope everyone, handles themselves properly and stays responsible, and these kind of things can continue.
The crowds turned out again on Sunday's second race, taking advantage of a great weather weekend.
It's one of the best tracks in the world, so they're taking the precautions. Everyone else is taking precautions. I had no concerns about coming out.
Meanwhile, in Brownsburg, the NHRA returned to the track with around 1,000 fans attending at Lucas Oil Raceway. Signage reminding everyone to cover their face and keep their space.
The downtime, I did a lot of stuff at home, and if I call it, I became a normal dad. And it felt good to be around the family, made the most of it.
Cars on the track, players on the field, fans in the stands. Perhaps an early step towards sports making something of a solid summer comeback. All 3 of these will go again this coming weekend. Indy 11 are home again Saturday night at Lucas Oil Stadium. IndyCar is going Friday and Saturday at Iowa Speedway. A limited number of fans will be in the grandstands for both of those races. And NHRA runs again Saturday and Sunday in Brownsburg. If you're going to any of these, you'll have to buy tickets online in advance. And don't forget your mask. Brad Brown, RTV6 Sports.
All right, thank you, Brad. Looking forward to watching all those events on TV once again here as we work our way into the weekend. And great to see some fans back in the stands. Lots of sunshine out there this morning. Here's a live look from downtown to the north, and there's not a cloud in the sky. And as we work our way throughout the course of the day today, our temperatures are going to start to moderate very quickly, but it's comfortable right now. 59 in Tipton as well as Peru, 58 in Greenfield. Martinsville currently at 63 degrees, and Bloomington is currently at 60. And here is the temperature trend as we go throughout the day. 81 already by the time we get to the noon hour, and then as we get into the afternoon, our high temperatures will be topping off right around 87 degrees. With all that sunshine, the humidity is low throughout the day today, so we're in great shape from start to finish throughout the day today. So anything you want to do outside, you are just fine. Make sure you just wear that sunscreen. The UV index really high, about 10 to 15 minute burn time today, and then obviously drink plenty of water as well. Off to our west, it is pretty active with numerous areas of thunderstorm action going on, and that's part of a cold front that'll be heading our way as we get into the coming days, and that will bring some changes to our forecast as the front's going to kind of linger, and that's going to return storm chances as well as the potential for some severe weather for some of us as we get into the late hours tomorrow. So the first half of tomorrow is great. Temperatures into the upper 80s, right around 90 degrees. Then as we work our way into the evening hours, that's when we'll have the potential of a few showers and storms. Now, the best potential for severe weather tomorrow is going to be in Illinois, because that's where the front makes its way through during the peak heating of the day. For us, it's going to be scattered showers arriving after sunset, and then we'll have to watch as we go into the overnight hours. A couple of these storms could stay on the stronger side, but no widespread severe weather is expected across central Indiana, although the Storm Prediction Center does have parts of the area you see in green there under the marginal risk for severe storms. By the end of the week, it is all about the heat and humidity. Look at these temperatures back up into the 90s. The humidity comes up as well. That's going to put heat index values each one of these days over 100 degrees, and with the heat and humidity will come the chance of some scattered storms. The storms, though, with the heat and humidity at the end of the week are going to be more of those pop-up variety storms during the peak heating of the day. But the bottom line is enjoy the weather today and at least the first half of the day tomorrow before those storms return, and then eventually the heat and humidity to the area as well.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. Let's take a look at traffic as you're heading out on the roads. This is I-70 a little east of State Road 267. You can see traffic to our west is moving along up to speed. Orange barrels here pulled out of the travel lane, so that is good news. We'll continue to keep you updated on any issues for your commute, and we'll keep you updated this morning. Well, this lake was made popular for its role in a 1980s film. Just after the break, though, why scientists say this watering hole is a natural-born star. That story and more coming up. Welcome back. So the backdrop for the 80s film Dirty Dancing is once again full of water.
So that classic movie, a part of it was filmed at the Mountain Lake Lodge in Giles County, Virginia. Let me take you there. The lake mysteriously dried up about 12 years ago. A scientist studied the lake bed and discovered that it's one of a kind in the world. The lake has a natural cycle that hits a major low about every 400 years. It's a mystery where the water goes, but employees at the lodge noticed the lake starting to filling up after a wet spring.
Certainly more water was going in than was going out through those porous holes that are in the bottom of the lake, and we're thrilled it's just holding right now at about a third full.
The lodge says the dry lake does not turn tourists away because there's so many other activities to do there. And Lauren, in keeping with the theme of this movie, Dirty Dancing, Todd and I want you to know that we have the time of our life working with you every morning, which of course is the name of the song, of course, from the hit movie. So there you have it.
Very good.
We enjoy working with you even at 4:27 in the morning.
Well, thank you, Raphael. I appreciate that. And Todd, we appreciate one more day of great weather here before we get back into that hot stretch.
Yeah, you know, as I always tell you, you have to take advantage of these nice days in the middle of summer when you don't have to deal with the humidity or thunderstorms. It's just a sunny, seasonable day for us today. Enjoy it, because as you see in your 7-day planning forecast, we bring back the chance of storms late tomorrow. They're with us off and on Thursday and Friday. And then it's all about the heat, humidity, and some storm chances popping up and during the peak heating of the day as those temperatures climb into the 90s. Lauren.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. We're back in 25 minutes. Have a great Tuesday.